Welcome to Bitstorm, a comedy game design podcast by two guys who know nothing about comedy nor game design. I'm Trevor Scott, and with me as always is Ben Slinger.
I am here, yes. Yes, I am. Hello.
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 So, what have you been up to recently? I hear that you've been maybe watching a few videos.
I don't know if I want to talk about that. All the people who know I should be doing things other than learning about Unreal Engine. I don't really want them to hear it. Yeah, well, I mean, let's talk a little bit about it. Well, should we? I guess so. We had this dumb idea that because Trevor has his Oculus Rift, and I'd like to buy probably a HTC Vive at some point in the next few months. We had this crazy, stupid idea that we could record the podcast in VR.
Given that I recorded the audio in VR last week, that
well, yeah,
we
exactly.
might as well try to record the whole thing in VR.
So we're learning Unreal Engine so that we can create a little virtual studio, set up a third-person camera that shows us both in there, and do stupid shit and maybe stream it on Twitch or something, or at least capture the video and put it up on YouTube. So yeah.
So it's a stupid pipe dream.
Yeah.
But it's a fun, stupid
that we
pipe
don't
dream.
actually have time to pursue or even the hardware at this point. But anyway.
Hey, I've got the hardware.
Well, yes, but that's not going to work. Just watch you sitting there in VR.
Throwing things at a cardboard cutout of you.
Yeah. I'll just have to use my mouse to drag the arms and head around as it puppeteer it a bit.
Well, you can just be, the first person camera user.
So just so our audience can just look at your face for the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got ideas on how we'd actually represent ourselves. We're not going to give that away here because I think it's better as a visual medium.
We've got lots of dumb ideas, and if it happens, you'll see them. So look out for that. I don't think we'd be the first podcast completely filmed in VR, but I think we'd do some fun stuff with it, and we'd be one of the first.
We'd be the first Australian random game dev design podcast to do it in VR.
That's it. And look, luckily we don't have enough listeners to for the chances of someone ripping the idea off to be a possibility. So bonus.
And also, we don't have enough listeners to say, no, don't do it. It's a stupid idea.
Exactly. Anyway. Let's get onto the actual show, the non-VR.
Okay, that sounds good.
The boring reality, just audio show.
Yeah. How does it work, Ben?
I think we're just going to play Click Pitch.
Yeah.
Which is a game where we each have a random word generator in front of us. On the count of 3, 2, 1, we will click, get a new word, and combine those words to make a game design. It's going to be awesome. You just wait.
3, 2, 1, click.
Serve.
Paneling.
Okay.
So I'm picturing it. You're at a Bunnings.
Yeah.
And you're serving paneling to different customers. So it's one of those games where lots of people put in orders, and you got to try and get the right paneling. It's just
widths of paneling. Do you have to cut it sometimes?
Paneling, you got to sometimes cut it. Got to sometimes get a certain pattern happening on the paneling. Sometimes it'll be wood paneling. Maybe you can find some other versions of paneling. and it's basically like an Overcooked sort of game in which you got orders in which you got to sort of get them out nice and quick.
That is interesting. I'm not. Yep. I feel like just paneling would be a little bit tedious. I had a slightly different idea.
Okay.
I also was thinking of paneling, like to panel the side of a building or something.
Mm-hmm.
But for serve, my mind went to tennis.
Yep.
And so perhaps it's kind of an arcadey sort of game where you're building a barn, but for some reason, the way you apply the paneling is by hitting a tennis ball back and forth. And where the tennis ball lands, that's where you add panels. Well, so it's almost like a reverse. It's almost like a reverse Breakout sort of game.
I was also thinking maybe you could apply paint in that way.
Okay, that could be a
So
little bit.
you've got to sort of get into certain areas, and it would then make it a perfect VR game.
It would work very well for VR, obviously, because it's very specifically, you've got to hit the ball in a specific direction and that sort of thing. Regardless of whether it's VR or not. Yeah, I like that idea. So basically you've got like paint-soaked tennis balls.
Yes.
I feel like this is a little bit like our old, lumberjack game, Who Was Afraid of Trees. This is a painter who's afraid of walls. So to paint the walls, he has to stay a certain distance away and hit paint-soaked tennis balls at the wall and try to get the best coverage that he can. So it's just, he or she has to be a very accurate tennis player or server.
Yep.
And yeah, there are things like, well, if you're going to paint the inside of that barn, you got to get it through that window and have it bounce around on the inside a bit from different angles. You could set up some contraptions and things. So, like, get it in the window, bounce it off the hay bale to hit the other side so that you get that, like, corner panel.
I'm now imagining that your character runs inside and, he serves down the one and he's just hitting it into all the bits of the walls and he's like, okay, running low on paint, hits it into like the paint bucket and like quickly goes over and then picks it up and starts going again.
Oh, well, I like the idea of having to catch it back in the paint bucket. Like, you bounce this tennis ball back. So you basically, you're having a rally with the walls.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it runs out of paint slowly. And so you have to quickly, like, drop the tennis racket, like hit the ball, drop the tennis racket, pick up your paint bucket, catch it to refill it, and then reserve for your next rally.
Yep. And like the pro technique is to, just do like a drop shot into the paint bucket itself, pick up the balls from the paint bucket and then keep going.
Right. Yeah. Totally.
Rather, so you don't have to, double handle, dropping the racket and all that sort of stuff. You can just literally go over and pick up the ball and continue.
Yeah.
But that's only on the inside. I think on the outside, then, that's where the majority of the serving is going on because, I mean, you're not going to be able to keep a rally going very easily on the outside.
Well, I mean, I'm just thinking back and forth and you're kind of having to hit it up and then back and hit it a bit higher, hit it to the right, hit it to the right. And you can have all sorts of obstacles and stuff, things that are coming to wipe off the paint and you have to whack them. I don't know what would crawl on the outside of a barn and eat paint. Some sort of paint creature.
If you turn around and you look back and there's a cow just licking the paint off the wall.
Yeah, you have to whack the cow, like hit the ball at the cow. I like this. I like that this is becoming a series. Maybe this could be like a franchise, but it's completely based around people with hands-on jobs who are afraid of the things they need to work with.
I'm just imagining
our next game
what's going to happen when we get to the plumber.
Well, I was going to say our next game is a mechanic who's afraid of cars. I don't know. He's just going to like lob engine parts into the bonnet and hope they hit the right spot.
Okay, let's click again.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, click. Stamina.
Storage lockers. Storage, like luggage, like how much stamina you have while carrying luggage around. Maybe it's some sort of, what do you call the person who takes your luggage up to your room in a hotel? Like a bellboy? Is that what that is?
Bellboy.
Yeah. That could be interesting. Like a bellboy simulator kind of thing. Having to, again, an arcadey kind of, maybe a multiplayer or like single screen co-op or single screen multiplayer sort of thing where you're having to take luggage from guests, get them up to their room quickly enough to get higher tips, not run into things, not run into each other, or purposefully run into each other because, Jared got the family with the like 16 pieces of luggage and loaded up his little cart too high but he knows it's generally, $1 per piece of luggage or something, right? The tip. So he's going to get a big tip from it if he gets it up there quickly enough and gets back down to get more luggage so other people can come and knock it over, so he has to stop and pick it all up.
But you've got a limited stamina pool. So
yeah, exactly. So there's some sort of stamina mechanic where you have to take a rest,
or you got to, like, within every X number of luggage that you pick up and move, like, it may be quicker to actually pick up the 4 pieces of luggage and run it up to the room.
Yeah.
But taking that extra time of putting it onto the cart and then moving the cart into the elevator and then taking it off again, it will take less stamina.
Yeah,
but
slightly more
takes more time.
Yeah. Well, and also the weight of each item comes into play as well. So obviously, running with a heavier item is going to take your stamina down quickly. So that's where using the cart could come in more handy. But of course, the cart also has less maneuverability, right? So if there's, if there's 3 other people who all have customers on the 15th floor, then maybe you'll get through it quicker if you're just carrying them.
Okay, so I'm seeing this as a top-down.
Yeah, that's kind of how I was picturing it. Yeah.
So one of the things that I'm liking the thought of is, how shopping trolleys, they have like one wonky wheel.
Yeah.
So as you're pushing it, you've got to sort of correct every now and again. I think that has to happen.
Or maybe it could be based on how you load the luggage. So there's almost like a Tetris sort of mini game, or not like a full on mini game, but it depends on how you orient,
stable you make it.
Or even just, as you pick something up, there's a little indicator of how heavy it is, and so you have to even it out so that you don't put all the heavy stuff on one side, because then it'll veer in that direction and possibly tip as you go around corners and stuff.
Oh yeah.
You got to put the heavier stuff on the bottom.
Heavy.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be really interesting. Actually, that'd be really fun. Maybe a technique is to make it real top heavy, and then as you go past someone, you just like veer to the right and drop a heavy suitcase on their head, knock them out,
take out some of that stamina. Okay, so I'm liking this. I'm liking this a lot. Is it a 2-player competitive, or is it like a 4-player competitive?
I'm thinking like 4 players. Although that's going to be difficult on a single screen. You could maybe do 4 players. Like split screen. You'd have to be split screen because you could all be on different floors of the hotel at the same time. Either 2, 3 or 4 player split screen, I imagine, could work okay. With some sort of mini map showing like what floor every character's on, or at least some sort of indicator. It doesn't have to be a map sort of thing.
How many elevators do you think there are?
Well, I think you'd have different levels, right?
So I'm thinking maybe you can have 3 elevators for a 4-player game.
Yeah. And like a single elevator for 2. Like one less elevator than
one less.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea.
And then,
but you can take the stairs.
Yes,
if you really want.
Not if you've got a cart.
Not if you've got a cart, of course. But so you can carry. I mean, you're pretty skilled, so you can load up maybe 3 or 4 suitcases if they're not too heavy. Like a couple, you manage to hold 2 in one hand by their handles. You manage to like balance one on your head or something. If it's light enough, I don't know. Yep. You could have ways of doing that as well. So yeah, if you know the elevator's going to be a while and it's only on the 2nd floor, then you might want to just run it up. But it will take a lot of stamina.
I'm thinking for the stamina pool to refresh that, you have to actually go to like the
like restrooms or something.
Either restrooms or like the kitchen sort of thing, and have like I know a power bar, and that takes 5 seconds to actually eat.
You know what could be a really interesting mechanic?
What?
You can take a chance and dig through one of the suitcases and possibly find like drugs or food or something that'll perk your stamina back up, but you're going to lose out on your tips for that run then.
if they catch you.
Okay, well, okay, so maybe you can. Maybe it depends on how much time you spend repacking it. So if you've just carried 3 heavy suitcases up to the 3rd floor, you're running out of stamina, you're like, shit, I really need to get this here. I'm going to risk opening these suitcases. You like open one, there's nothing in it. You open the second one, yes, found some stimulants. It like jacks your stamina up to 150%. But
you're going to crash later on.
But also you have to now, you can deliver these suitcases as is, and you'll get, less tips, or you can spend that time now repacking them carefully. You'll hopefully still keep your tips. Although obviously like the tips also, are relative to how much time you've taken from them leaving the reception to getting to their room, and how far in between. So yeah, there's all these kind of interesting balancing acts there of different strategies for maximizing your tips. That's really cool. I really want to play this.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea of maybe you see the lobby and you just see a line of people, and you can sort of see, okay, if I take a little bit more time on this particular one, the next person in queue actually only has like 2 pieces
2 small
of luggage,
bags, yeah.
But the next one, has like 5. And it's like, oh, that'll be a much better one to actually get. But of course, the other person sees that as well. So you sort of like, you've got that sort of, who's got to get there first,
so
going down really, really slow.
So what happens if no one's down there? Is it just the first person to get back, it gets assigned to them? Like whoever's in the lobby, it gets assigned to them. I think
the first person that the hotel manager sees,
right,
you get called across.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting because obviously,
so there's a possibility that you can sneak through there and get to the restroom and hide out in there for a little bit,
get some stamina back.
Yeah,
have a smoke. Yeah, I really like that idea. And of course, but the longer you make that person wait, though, because you're both trying to hold out for the next one, like they're going to get mad, and you're both going to lose tips because you. Like if they get mad enough that they get pissed off and yell at the manager, like the manager garnishes your tips.
Yep.
So yeah, again, there's this balancing act. There's so much cool stuff with this.
Yeah, there really is.
That's awesome.
I love the Tetris mechanic though. Just
having to like
how much extra time this could actually take, and you've got on your little screen, okay, here are all the bags, and it's like you start testing them, and you see that, early levels, they're all in sort of nice square shapes that, you can create a nice little base.
Yeah, but then you start getting like fucking...
Stack things up, and like, it's like you start getting like, triangle and
like
circle hat boxes.
Guitar cases and things. Like a bloody visiting band comes, that's like the boss level. Just got like cylindrical drum cases, guitar cases. You just got to stack them up there. I'm picturing it as a full-on kind of 3D-ish Tetris where you're like picking up one piece at a time and having to place it down where you want to place it, and they're all like physically simulated in some reasonably accurate way.
Yep. So I'm thinking also that with the cart, you can see a top view, a side view, and a front view, so that you can. Yeah,
I think you just make it that you can easily flip between them as you're packing a cart.
Yep, yeah. And you can also flip the
suitcase,
the boxes, the suitcases in also 90-degree increments.
Oh, maybe I kind of like the idea of you just having to rotate them semi-manually. Just to add to the challenge. Maybe there's a power up. Maybe there's a power up that lets you like snap to grid in some way.
Yeah, but you know what the power move is? What? It's literally line everything up horizontally, and it may be going a meter wide now, but it's the power move.
Like sticking things out to the side, so you
yeah.
You could make it that if you stack things well enough, like you put the longer things on the bottom sticking out to the side, put some heavy things on top of them, and you can just basically clothesline other people, or like just
take their legs out,
or like knock their luggage off. Oh my There's like so many different elements to this game.
I know. I love it.
Oh, that's
I love
great.
it, love it, love it.
All right.
One thing that we didn't actually talk about is how the tips would actually go up depending on what level you've actually delivered to as well. So people who are on a higher level are probably of a higher socioeconomic status. Yeah. Yep. So if you happen to get the penthouse, you know that your tips are going nuts,
but it's a harder job because you got to get things all the way up there and
all the way up, all the way down, and if you've missed the elevator,
yeah. Well, and the other people are going to be blocking you too, right? Like they know that you got a penthouse job.
Yeah,
you could even have like
pull the stop button.
You could do. What I was going to say is you could have special packages that have different attributes as well. So like they've got a particularly fragile one, or this one has a fucking dog inside it, and like if it gets knocked off, it runs away. So you really have to make sure that it's secure.
It's just a box with 4 furry legs sticking at the bottom of it.
This one contains a bomb for some reason. Because they're actually a terrorist, I suppose. But if that one gets knocked over, you like destroy the hotel. You could even do single player stuff with this, really. Like,
oh yeah,
you could definitely have a single player campaign of just the challenge of packing it and getting it up there fast enough, and these sorts of different packages and stuff dealing with them.
But yeah, the multiplayer is the just the all out manic mode.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, let's click again.
Oh, I don't want to. I just want to keep talking about this game. No, okay.
3, 2, 1, click.
Solid.
Guys.
Solid guys.
GUISE.
Oh, okay. Well, that could be a pun. Somehow. These are guys who are under the guise of being solid, but they're actually made of liquid and or gas. so it's aliens.
Right, okay. It's either water or gas based aliens living on Earth, in the guise of solid humans.
Of solid guys, yeah. Well, I was thinking it's almost like a buddy cop kind of thing. One's liquid, one's gas.
Yep.
And they're known as the solid guys because that's what they call themselves because they want to convince everyone around them that they're solid humans just like us. I don't know if they're actually cops. They could be. And I guess they have certain powers based on the form of matter they are to float through air vents or drip down under doors or... I don't know.
And so when they're in their solid state, everyone just assumes that they're always solid, and then as part of the puzzle solving, I'm possibly thinking the Lost Viking style.
Yeah.
You can have the extra puzzles in which one has to go and hit some sort of button so that the other one can get through.
I wonder if if they could have a sidekick who is an actual human.
Solid guy?
Yeah, solid guy and the solid guys. No, it's just Joanna. She's just a human. But she's like friends with these two guys who insist on calling themselves the solid guys all the time as if she didn't know they were solid. I mean, everyone's solid, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then, she finds out that one of them's made of water, one of them's made of gas, and they have to go on this puzzle-solving spree.
So, is it based on an alien world and they've kidnapped Joanna? Or is it
I like the idea that it's based on Earth. And I like the idea of it being just like sometimes these really mundane puzzles. Like, I think it has to be a bit of an effort for them to stay solid. Like, they can fake being solid. They can pull their molecules together. It's harder for the gas guy than the water guy, but it takes some effort. And so sometimes, and particularly under different situations or something. And so sometimes the challenge is literally just staying solid through a really long meeting. And like every time you say that you have to go pee, the boss says no. But then, yeah, like you uncover some sort of conspiracy or something, and then you're really on the case, all three of you. And then, then you're doing things like, having to like turn into liquid form to go under a door so that you can unlock it so the others can get through. Or gas. Yep. I guess that works for gas form. I guess the thing is like, what can liquid form do that gas form can't? I guess liquid has more weight to it then, right? Like it could pour into something that needed to be weighted down.
Yep. So a container or a bowl or something like that.
Yeah, or be transported in different ways. I like that part of the challenge is, though, that like when you turn into your water or gas form, your clothes don't transform. And so when you get onto the other side of that door, you're going to be nude. You're going to be naked.
So in other words, Joanna's whole thing is that she's
like just picking up their fucking clothes. That's pretty horrible. No, well, maybe part of the puzzle solving is like you get a bonus if you're back in your clothes at the end of the level. It's like the extra, the third star is making it to the end of the level with your clothes on.
And the secret fourth star was not making Joanna pick it up?
Yeah, exactly. None of this heteronormative gender-based gender roles of her doing their laundry for them. Do your own damn laundry, water guy.
So, with the meetings, to stay solid, what does the player have to do? Because it needs to be kind of hard. Is it like a quick time event, or is it like one of those keep pressing X to
It's like keep the meter in between the 2 points. Like Ollie, like Ollieing in Tony Hawk. No, not Ollieing, grinding, I guess, or doing the manual or whatever.
Yeah, the manual.
Yeah, the manual. And as it gets harder and harder, it gets smaller and smaller. But if the boss has his back turned, you can like liquefy for a second, and you don't have to liquefy completely, but you can let it go a bit, and you just start dripping. And then the boss turns around and you like, suck it all back in. Which is a really funny visuals with this.
I'm now seeing the gas guy sort of looking slightly happier, as if he's just let go of a big fart.
Exactly. You got to be really careful of the other employees not inhaling you. You won't get that mass back for a little while.
Oh.
Stink mass. We've already done stink mass.
Yes, we've done stink mass before. Okay, so we've got the protagonist. Who's the antagonist?
Density man. He's like super dense. More dense than humans.
Okay, so he's another alien from the same planet?
From a different planet that they're at war with. Okay. They're offended by how far apart their molecules are. Including humans. Yeah. Even humans are too.
On their planet, there's only one state that they know of, and it's just
diamond.
Molecules are literally touching. There's no space in between.
Yeah, exactly. All the electrons are just like super up close and personal.
So does that give him like electric charge or something like that?
I don't know. Maybe. No, I think he's just really heavy. Just the same amount of volume takes up more, like weighs more, has more mass. I think that's the only difference.
Like dark matter.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I guess it's just take that guy down, literally, because he's really heavy, and then you just like make him fall through the floors somehow of the office building. Is it just in an office building? Sounds really boring. I don't know why I went
think
to
it starts in an office building, and then you've got to gradually get to.
Well, I think eventually you go to the other planets. Then you get some really interesting things because then you got different gravitational and pressure effects and things.
Well, to see the world in which everyone is just gas, that'll be interesting to see.
Oh yeah,
how they've made their structures.
Everyone's basically just fucking all the time because they're just intermingling constantly.
How do you know what's part of you is like?
Oh, I know. I'm inside you right now.
He keeps saying that to Joanne, and she goes, "Ew."
Oh, I thought I smelled something.
3, 2, 1, quick.
Yeah.
Pancreas.
Comment. So it's a discussion board for pancreases to just like really bitch about their humans. I don't know. What the fuck does a pancreas do?
Oh, God.
Doesn't it make insulin or something? Or is that
pancreas function? Helps in digestion.
Helps in digestion.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it does.
So,
it does make insulin, basically. Yes.
So I'm thinking that it's one of those games in which you start on, the pancreas discussion board, trying to find out what the pancreas actually does.
Okay. So the game starts and you've just got a web browser open with Wikipedia and WebMD and discussion forums.
Yeah. So it's like one of those, you control the computer to actually
like a fake operating system kind of thing.
Yeah. In this particular one, you start investigating into the pancreas, and maybe you get a little message popping up saying, stop looking into this.
Stop looking into the function of the pancreas. And it's literally from your pancreas.
Well, it could be. I just think maybe there's a big conspiracy, kind of like the appendix,
right?
That no one knows what it does.
It's like, or it's that everyone claims that the pancreas does something, but as you look further and further into it, you realize it's all fake, and so all the pancreases out there, like
they're actually sentient,
trying to get you to stop because they don't want you to know that they don't actually do anything, and also they're sentient.
Well, they're sentient, and they're actually, a parasitic organism that
right that for hundreds of thousands of years has been like living inside of humans without their knowledge.
Yeah, as like a parasitic twin, but it turns out that one or two of them decided that they'd start hiding the rules as to, maybe they are the overlords of the world.
Of pancreatitis. No, that's a disease. Okay. That's a really fucking interesting idea. So you're on this computer and you get a message from a sentient pancreas that might be your pancreas saying, stop digging into the pancreas. Like, stop looking stuff up. What about all the doctors out there who are like endocrinologists or whatever and who are experts in the pancreas? Are they in on it, or are they made up? Or a bit of both?
So what they actually are is they are doctors who keep the parasitic twins, in good health.
Okay. Or they're people whose pancreases have actually just taken them over completely. Like they've taken control of the host, which they only do like that's not actually their goal. Like they just do that in emergencies, or where they see a real opportunity to continue this ruse of the pancreas just being a regular organ in the human body, which is why a lot of them are pancreas doctors.
Or maybe your pancreas is actually trying to get you to look into this because it doesn't like the way that a certain pancreas has taken over its
host,
its user.
And maybe it's your like significant other. You find out that you're actually in love with a pancreas. And your pancreas Either your pancreas feels bad for you for being duped, or your pancreas just really isn't in love with the other pancreas. Doesn't want to be part of this weird threesome.
It's actually from a separate bloodline of pancreases.
Right, there's like a blood feud.
He sees it as, I'm seeing it as like, oh, that pancreas is from a lower caste.
Right. It's like, or maybe, or maybe your significant other has diabetes. So like, the pancreas doesn't produce insulin.
Mm-hmm.
So your pancreas is just like, they look down on it as being lesser.
Oh, okay. and so the people who have diabetes, their pancreas is basically starting to die, and that's why they're having to inject insulin and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah,
basically.
So I'm just looking into it because, of course, we like to be accurate on this show. But like type 2 diabetes is often because of impaired insulin secretion. Like, so the pancreas isn't secreting insulin the way it should be. So yeah, like, I don't think it's dying. It's just not very good at its job.
I've decided I'm going on holiday.
Yeah. So maybe your pancreas just thinks it's fucking lazy.
You look into it and it's just playing World of Warcraft the whole time.
Well, I mean, that's why it took over the host, so that it could play World of Warcraft. So this is sort of a conversational, almost choose your own adventure sort of, or like dialogue tree based game where you're sending instant messages and emails to your pancreas, to your significant other. I think you have a choice of gender or whatever for both main characters.
Yeah. There's a questionnaire at the start.
Yeah, exactly. Just who, yeah. And so you're trying to, and so like there are all these great reveals of, oh, your significant other is actually a pancreas who's taken over their host. I'm not into this because they're also a useless pancreas. Ooh. Pancreas. Said that again so I can cut it in there after all those times I failed to say pancreas.
I'm editing, so I can't be bothered doing that, so I'll just put one of the failed ones in there.
Fuck you. I gave you options, man. Okay, what I like is I like the idea of halfway through the game, you get an instant message from a new person, and it's actually is from your appendix, and it turns out they're a different race of aliens. And they're also only just finding out that pancreases are sentient. They thought they were the only ones, and they've been like living on the down low, or mostly failing because they just get removed constantly and killed.
Yeah,
the pancreas has been much more successful.
The pancreas who has been sending down, just as the pancreas has always known that the appendix is another alien being,
right?
But if they start getting a little bit too nosy, they get they send down some bacteria to basically
to
just
give appendicitis.
Yeah.
Oh, it's really funny. And then the final scene of the game is like your left lung saying, "Hey, me too."
I'm just thinking your brain, actually. And there's like, hang on.
Wait.
What?
Wait, I'm not my brain.
The brain just goes, me too, in like a third, third sort of voice in your head. And it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it turns out that what you thought was consciousness is actually just a like weird side effect of these like 50 different sentient beings deciding to settle in a skin sack together.
And so that explains dissociative disorder or whatever it is.
Right. This is when one of them gets a bit too uppity.
Yeah, so that's why some people can have like 13 different personalities. It's all their all their organs being sentient and coming to the forefront.
Right. Oh god, that's funny.
3, 2, 1, click.
Yep. Spitting.
Oxidation.
So my first thought was that you have to like, for some reason, you have to rust something. And
same here.
But the only way you have of doing that is by spitting on it. So you just have to like work up enough saliva to cover something in spit until it rusts.
Okay. Alien world in which, for some reason, human spit oxidizes metal instantly.
Okay. So just the oxidation process happens much faster for whatever reason.
Yeah, but only through human spit.
Don't make me look up oxidation. Anyway. Yeah, okay. So there's some sort of catalyzing reaction with saliva that,
yes,
that increases metal oxidation, the speed of it. All right. So that's your weapon. That's almost your, like a tool on this planet then. You can like...
Especially because it turns out that rusted metal is one of the most precious items on this planet because it's so rare.
Okay. So you're having to avoid being captured by these aliens because they want to make you their golden fucking goose by just spitting on metal all day long.
Yeah, and so maybe they all live in these massive metal, got metal panels and all that sort of stuff. Bringing back the paneling. Got metal panels and, you're sitting in a dungeon at the very start and you start thinking, ooh, I bet you I could escape. And so you spit. Instantly, the metal panel rusts. You kick a hole through it.
Well, I like this idea that you start the game and you don't know that this is you don't know that this is a thing yet. Like maybe you literally wake up in a metal cell after having been abducted by aliens. But the way you figure this out is as a gamer, is the only control you have is to spit. Like that's the only thing you can do right now is you can move around and you can spit on things.
And if it does happen to hit metal, then, you see spots of rust.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you presumably just see it. Exactly. You see it rust quite quickly. And so if you spit on the same place a few times, it starts rusting enough to like rust a hole through it.
So what's the best way to get more saliva? I'm thinking, when you see like the thing that you really want to eat right at this second, you start salivating.
Right.
Kind of like in that game that we had a little while ago, where you were the bacteria inside the person's mouth.
That's right, yes.
So you see a massive kebab and you start salivating and then you can...
Which luckily is the main source of dietary nutrition on this planet is kebabs.
Oh, it doesn't have to be. That's the only thing that they have. They can have pizza as well.
Fuck, now I'm hungry. Yeah, okay. So you've got a saliva meter that goes up as you like look at tasty foods or get nervous about something or, I don't know, are about to vomit.
Don't say that to me right now.
That's true. Trevor had gastro this week.
I actually think it was more food poisoning, but lovely. Yes, it wasn't very
from a
good.
bad kebab.
No, thinking it was my midnight Macca's run.
Oh, really? Anyway, yeah, I don't know. Is there much more we can do? What happens if you spit on the aliens? Does something happen there too? Like oxidation doesn't just happen to metals.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what happens when other things oxidize, but I think it happens to other things.
I'm thinking maybe what could actually happen is, how in the Alien movies, how the aliens have like, acid for blood and they can pretty much melt things almost instantly.
Yeah.
That's one of the powers that you find out that
right. So
humans
on this planet,
have on
your
this,
saliva
on this
and blood are like basically effectively acidic.
Yes.
Okay.
So I think the cool thing that could happen halfway through the game is that typical trope of you lose the powers.
Wait, how does that happen? Because you're just in
you're in an
environment where it doesn't.
You get taken to another environment that is sterilized.
Right, okay. And so now you're just a weak, puny human again.
Exactly. So now you got to use some of the other skills that you've learned throughout the game,
like
in the non-mandatory stealth section.
Well, so like just using alien weapons and stuff. Well, I kind of like the idea that in all the other sections you can use alien weapons, but because your sweat just like breaks them down so quickly, you only get like 3 shots off before they disintegrate. Whereas now that you're in this other environment, you can use all the tools and weapons properly.
Because whatever it is in the air that actually causes this.
Yeah, like catalyzes the reaction with your bodily fluids.
I kind of like a big twist.
Mm-hmm.
And the big twist I'm sort of going for is that the aliens that have captured you have actually come and terraformed Earth.
Okay, so this is Earth after all.
This is actually Earth after all.
You maniacs! Yeah.
Yep. I just think it might be a cool idea to have it that it's quite a few years later they've terraformed the Earth and changed the atmosphere.
So do you find more humans then?
I think you may actually find your main thing is to get back to your family.
I just had a horrible thought of like using humans as traps. Like there's an alien coming down the hallway and you've positioned a human above them. And as the alien passes underneath, you shoot the human or like slice it open so all its bodily fluids come down and just like disintegrate the alien.
Oh no!
Look, this is war, man. They took our planet. We got to break a few eggs. All right, I think
one of the characters' name
eggs. All right, I think we should click again.
Yep,
might be the last one.
3, 2, 1, click. Hardliner.
Okay. Upright. Hardliner?
Hardliner.
Is that even a word in itself? What is it? Like, what is that? Oh. A member of a group, typically a political group, who adheres uncompromisingly to a set of ideas or policies.
Ah, it's a Tony Abbott.
Yes. It's a Tony Dum Dum, as my son still will remember to say occasionally.
Oh, God.
Now I'm depressed.
So what was yours?
Upright. I don't know. Is it a Tony Abbott headbutting game?
Topical.
You get to play a bunch of yes voters who headbutt Tony Abbott and see how long he stays upright for.
Yeah, but you know what I'm picturing that he is? He's just one of those like punching clowns that just has like the weight at the bottom that he goes down and comes back up again.
Yep. Also, his face looks like an onion.
And he's eating one.
Yeah, he's an onion eating an onion. All right, I think we'll click again. We'll find it. We'll find a good one in here.
Yeah. 3, 2, 1, click.
Banknote.
Confection.
Oh, this is a bit more interesting. So,
it's a world.
In a world
where money
is candy.
Also confectionery. So you've just made the big sale.
But you're also really hungry. Yeah. And also, everyone has to pay in cash. So there's just piles of confectionery around going bad. Look, that's another issue, right? Like, depending on the time. So wait. So if you want to keep long-term stores of cash, you have to store it in hard candy.
Yeah.
But like for short-term day-to-day spending, like chocolate bars is fine, or yes, like, they're going to melt, but it's all right. You're going to spend them pretty quickly. Is this like also people's main, thing that they eat? Because then it's basically a way to like avoid going to the grocery store. Like going to the grocery store is just turning cash into food anyway. So instead of doing that, you just
to the
eat some
ATM.
cash. Yeah, the ATM is just the Candyman can. It's just that scene from Willy Wonka.
Okay, and Halloween is the most expensive day on Earth.
And Willy Wonka is God.
Willy Wonka is being reimagined as a bank manager.
Willy Wonka is Donald Trump. He's both president and the richest man. Well, not that Donald Trump is the richest man, but you know what I mean. He's a rich arsehole.
Okay, so I kind of like this idea of confection being money and all that sort of stuff.
Yep.
I'm thinking that we set it on Halloween.
Okay.
And, so it's not only the most expensive day on the planet because everyone's giving out money to kids, and they're literally just going to eat it all.
Right. So yeah, this is the equivalent of a kid coming to your door and you're throwing like $300 worth of 20s in their bag.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. So here's the next thing. You got two thieves who see that Halloween is a perfect night to go out and get free money.
Yeah.
So
you play the thieves.
Yeah. I either you play the thieves or you play.
Is this? Hang on.
A detective who's trying to work it out.
I was going to say, is this yet another game where you're stealing things from children and making them cry?
No, you're not stealing from the children. You're stealing from the people's houses. So
you have to pretend to be children?
Yeah, basically because it's all in costumes,
right?
You know, you've just got to make sure that maybe you can choose your crew that you send out to bring in all the money,
right?
So
you've got the different types of houses. You know, some people just put out a bowl and it's like the honor system. But, you know, they might have set up a security camera. So you got to get someone in there who can have the tech to shut down that security system so you can take the whole bowl. Other people are actually
$5,000 worth of 20s.
Yeah, exactly. Other people are answering the door, but like you're not going to get anything if it's obvious that you're not a kid. So you need someone who's short and you need a really good costume to hide the fact that you've got a full-length beard and a super baritone voice.
Maybe you can bribe some kids with some cheaper, nastier candy. That is like, you know, your nickels and your quarters and stuff like that.
So you do get to scam some kids.
Yeah, but you know, you've got to send someone to actually scope out the right kids.
Right. So you got to find the kids who are going to be dumb enough to take lesser candy for the more valuable candy they get from the house, but also clever enough that they're not just going to go to the door and give it away. Okay.
So the way I'm seeing it is that you can actually give them like $5 worth of nickel and quarter candy for, you know, their one or two $20 note candy that they give you, and it's like they just see it as they're getting way more candy, but you're actually making money out of it.
Right. So they're dumb kids who think the more, like, the quantity of candy is better than the actual value
is better
of it.
than the quality.
Yeah. So what are the different, what's your sort of denominations? Like, your 5 cents, is that like, is this going to be close to what they're actually worth, like, in the real world? So your 5 cents is like those little fucking, what were those little fizz ball candies?
The Fizzos.
The Fizzos, yeah.
And then like your 10 cents can be maybe like your racing cars.
Yeah. 50 cents is like a Redskin or something. Oh, wait, they can't be they're not called Redskins. Are they still called Redskins? Because that's really fucking racist.
Yeah. Toffee apples.
Toffee apples, yeah. What was it? White Knight. All these bloody candies, lollies from our childhood. And then you start going up to like $1 is like a Mars bar, and $2 is like a king size Mars bar, and $10 is a bar of chocolate.
Yep.
And $50 is the rare polywaffle because they stopped making them. I'm so pissed that they stopped making polywaffles.
You could still get them for a little while. They had them out again a little while ago.
Really? I know there are people making like
when you're in Canada.
Oh, of course. I know there are people making knockoff ones at like bakeries and stuff, but I haven't had one.
They're not the same.
For those who don't know, a polywaffle is marshmallow wrapped in wafer, wrapped in chocolate, and it's delicious.
Yep.
It's got such a nice, like, sweet, smushy crunch to it when you eat it. It's all about the texture, man, too. Yeah. Yeah,
definitely. Because it's not all soft. There's some crunchy bits. There's some smooth bits. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So I'm liking this idea of the
thieves.
The thieves basically pulling together like the big heist in this. I'm seeing a like one of the rich gated communities.
Okay. All right. So you got like your big heist, your big job. And so building up to that, are you...
So you got a few days of, you know, having to go pick the right costumes.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, like, you got to spend some of the money. Well, okay. I guess that doesn't work if the big heist is going to be on Halloween. Well, maybe it's more that it's a set across the course of the night of Halloween, and you can like upgrade stuff as you go. So depending on how much you're stealing or managing to get through these other means, to the point where when it hits like, I was going to say midnight, there aren't still kids out at midnight. I don't know, like 9 p.m. 9 p.m. right at the end, you know that this big house is going to have a huge stash. And so you have to have upgraded enough and got all your gear and got your costumes and got your crew together to finally do your final big heist.
The big push.
Big push. And so what does that involve? Are you actually like breaking in then and it's sort of different gameplay?
Well, it depends on like whether you again want a twist in the middle of it in which, you know, there's some sort of rival gang or something like that trying to do the same thing, and you've got to
right. How do you? Okay, so you need ways to like beat them down as well, like hold them off in some way.
Yeah, well, the whole thing about Halloween is it's either trick or treat.
Okay,
so the tricks can be like eggs and like toilet paper and I don't know, sawn off shotgun.
Jesus. But they shoot those fizzos. Those things could hurt, man, if you threw them hard enough.
No, they're just rock salt. That's all it is.
In a world of sweets, savouries, including rock salts, weapons. No, right. Yeah, okay. I guess that'll do us. Yeah. Thanks for joining us, listeners out there in podcast land. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Come and find us there. Tell us any ideas that you might have had for games based on this week's prompt. We also have a Facebook group where we put up a listener click pitch every week, so you can come there as well and see what those prompts are. And Trevor and I jump in there most weeks. We give our ideas. Other people give their ideas. You can give your ideas. We'll have a discussion about it. It's fun. You can also find us on Podchaser, a site that I developed actually. Just go there, search for Bitstorm. You can rate us there. You can leave some reviews. There's lots of new features coming soon. Things like lists of podcasts, user profiles, tons of other stuff. So you'll soon be able to follow other people, and I don't know. There's lots of great stuff coming. It's gonna be cool.
Check us out on iTunes where you can rate, review, and subscribe. We have a website, bitstormcast.com. We'd also like to plug the AGPN, the Australasian Gaming Podcast Network. We've made a lot of friends out there, and we'd like for you to check out all their podcasts.
Speaking of the AGPN, PAX is coming up. We're going to be involved in a few AGPN things there, so I think you'll find us on at least one or two other AGPN podcasts. It's going to be a lot of fun. We might have some people on our podcast too. We're sorting things out. It's going to be really cool. I'd also like to mention that we're part of 2 Pods a Day in October. This is a campaign where every day on Twitter they put out 2 new indie podcasts for people to check out, and there are some reviews of episodes up there. So check that out. We'll tweet about it. We'll Facebook about it. It's really cool. We'd also like to thank Kuridas for the song Mount Defiance off the album Containment Failure. That's the song you hear at the start and end of the show. That's our band. It's kind of neat. Thank you again for joining us. This has been Bitstorm. I am Ben Slinger.
I am Trevor Scott. I'd play that.
That's the end. Storm it up.
Bitstorm.
Flame on.
Storm on.
Storm on. Stormcast.
Everything's better in VR.
Stormaloma ding dong.
Kiss your bit straight on the lips.
Kiss your dad straight on the bits.
And